Some connections are so intense that they change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Meeting your twin flame is one of those experiences. It can happen when you least expect it. A normal day turns into the day you meet someone who feels strangely familiar, someone whose presence stirs emotions you cannot explain. In the first moments, you may not understand what is happening, but somewhere deep inside, you recognize them. It feels as if you have known them for lifetimes. This recognition can be both beautiful and deeply painful when you discover they are already married to someone else. Your mind tries to make sense of the timing. Your heart refuses to accept the limitation. The more you learn about them, the stronger the bond becomes. Conversations flow effortlessly. Eye contact feels like an unspoken language. Every interaction leaves you feeling both uplifted and unsettled. You cannot deny the connection, yet you cannot fully have it. From a psychological perspective, a twin flame connection is not about possession, it is about reflection. This person mirrors parts of yourself that you may have hidden or forgotten. They awaken traits, desires and dreams that have been buried under the routines and roles of daily life. When they are married to someone else, this awakening does not stop. In fact, the emotional charge can grow stronger because of the separation. The longing intensifies as the reality of the situation forces you to confront what you feel without the comfort of acting on it. You might find yourself thinking about them at unexpected times. A song, a phrase, or a place can trigger memories of moments you shared. You may wonder if they feel it too. Often, they do. Even if they remain committed to their marriage, they are not immune to the pull of this unique connection. The emotions you both experience can be powerful enough to create confusion, guilt, and an almost constant internal dialogue about what it means. The truth is that this connection is not here to destroy or replace their existing life. It is here to teach. When you encounter your twin flame under these circumstances, you are being challenged to understand love in a deeper way. Love that does not demand ownership. Love that exists even in the absence of physical closeness. Love that forces you to grow, to face your own fears, insecurities, and patterns. There will be days when the distance feels unbearable. Days when you want to push them away to stop the ache. Days when you wish you had never met them at all. But there will also be moments of clarity when you realize that their presence in your life has already changed you for the better. They have reminded you of who you are beneath the surface. They have opened your eyes to the parts of yourself you had abandoned. The pain of loving someone you cannot have is real, but so is the growth that comes from it. Your twin flame's marriage does not diminish the connection. It reshapes it into something that demands patience, boundaries, and self-respect. The work is not in trying to be with them, but in learning what this bond is awakening in you. That is where your transformation begins. In the end, this experience is not about whether or not you end up together. It is about the person you become because of it. It is about the courage to love without losing yourself, to feel deeply without being consumed, and to honor the connection without compromising your own integrity. Your twin flame may be married to someone else, but the impact they have on your soul is yours to keep. This journey will test your patience, your resilience, and your ability to accept what cannot be changed. It will also reveal the strength you did not know you had. You may not be able to walk through life with them by your side, but you can carry the lessons they have brought into every part of your future. Every challenge, every tear, and every moment of longing has the potential to become a source of wisdom. In time, you will see that meeting your twin flame, even under impossible circumstances, was never an accident. It was a turning point meant to awaken you. The connection may not follow the path you hoped for, yet it can still be one of the most meaningful relationships of your life. It teaches you to love without control, to let go without resentment, and to find fulfillment within yourself. As you move forward, the feelings you shared will become a reminder of your own capacity for depth and authenticity. You will learn that true connection is not limited by labels or circumstances. Even if your twin flame remains in another life, the bond has already left an imprint on your soul that no distance or time can erase. Before we go deeper, here's something that can help you understand this connection more clearly. The Jung method shows you how to recognize emotional patterns, break unhealthy cycles, and strengthen your self-worth so you are never defined by someone else's choices. The link is pinned in the first comment. When you realize your twin flame is married to someone else, the first wave of emotion can feel overwhelming. There is shock, confusion, longing, and often a deep sense of injustice. The mind searches for explanations. The heart searches for a way to stay close without crossing lines. This internal conflict can be exhausting because you are constantly balancing the truth of your feelings with the reality of the situation. Psychologically, this is a rare kind of tension. On one hand, the connection you feel is profound. On the other, you know there are boundaries you cannot ignore. That boundary becomes the very space where the growth happens. In that space, you learn patience, restraint, and the art of holding love without needing to own it. For many, this becomes a kind of spiritual discipline, an ongoing practice of loving deeply while respecting the integrity of another person's life. The presence of marriage in this dynamic changes everything. It forces both of you to operate within a frame of reality that demands caution. Every conversation, every glance, and every interaction carries unspoken weight. You are aware of the line that exists between you, and yet you feel the constant pull to cross it. That pull is not only physical or emotional. It is also a longing for unity, for the feeling of being fully seen and understood. If the two of you choose to keep the relationship platonic, the emotions do not simply disappear. In fact, they often intensify because they remain unexpressed. Suppressed feelings can become louder in the mind, turning into scenarios you replay over and over. This is where it is important to understand that the intensity you feel is not entirely about the other person. It is also about the parts of yourself that they have awakened. For some, the realization that their twin flame is married becomes a catalyst for deep self-examination. It raises questions about what they want in relationships, what boundaries they need to protect, and how they can honor their feelings without causing harm. This reflection is not easy. It requires looking at your own patterns, your history of attachment, and your beliefs about love and destiny. But it is here, in this uncomfortable space, that transformation begins. If your twin flame reciprocates your feelings, the complexity multiplies. The temptation to blur lines grows stronger, and the emotional stakes rise. In these moments, it is essential to ground yourself in self-awareness. Ask yourself what the connection is truly giving you. Is it clarity about who you are? Is it a reminder of the kind of intimacy you want in the future? Or is it a way of avoiding the pain of letting go? When handled with honesty, a twin flame connection that cannot move into a traditional relationship can still be one of the most transformative experiences of your life. It can teach you that love is not always about possession. It can show you the depth of your emotional capacity and your ability to care for someone even when you cannot be with them. It can force you to redefine what fulfillment means, shifting the focus from what you receive to who you become through the process. There will be days when you want to retreat completely, to cut all contact and protect yourself from the ache. There will be other days when the bond feels too important to let go of entirely. Navigating this back and forth requires compassion for yourself. It is normal to feel conflicted. It is normal to grieve what could have been while still cherishing what is. In the end, the question is not whether you and your twin flame will end up together. The question is whether you will use this connection as an opportunity to grow into the most authentic version of yourself. If you do, you will carry the imprint of this bond, not as a source of regret, but as a reminder of the person you became because of it. Asterisk, when you are in this situation, one of the first things to understand is that the mind will naturally seek certainty. You may find yourself constantly searching for signs, trying to interpret their words and actions, wondering if they feel exactly what you feel. This need for confirmation is human. It is the mind's way of trying to manage uncertainty. But in a twin flame connection where marriage is involved, certainty is almost impossible. The reality is complex and fluid. The other person has commitments, responsibilities, and emotional ties that will shape their decisions in ways you cannot predict. This is why the work becomes internal. Instead of focusing on what they might do, you begin to focus on what you can do for your own stability and growth. This means building a life that does not depend on their presence for meaning. It means creating routines, relationships, and goals that are yours alone. Paradoxically, this independence often strengthens the connection because it removes the pressure that can cause it to collapse under its own intensity. Another important part of this journey is accepting that longing will be part of the experience. Trying to force the feelings away can create more tension. Instead, acknowledging them without acting on them allows you to hold the connection without letting it take over your life. You learn to let the bond exist alongside other priorities, rather than letting it dominate every thought and choice. Boundaries are essential. Without them, it is easy to drift into situations that compromise your integrity or theirs. Boundaries protect not only the people involved, but also the essence of the connection itself. A twin flame bond can lose its purity if it becomes entangled in secrecy, dishonesty, or betrayal. Keeping your actions aligned with your values ensures that whatever the outcome, you can look back without regret. Over time, you may notice that the connection changes. The initial intensity might soften into something quieter but no less meaningful. You might feel less urgency to be in constant contact, yet still carry a deep sense of closeness. This is a sign that you are integrating the experience into your life in a healthy way. The bond becomes less about immediate gratification and more about lasting impact. For some, the twin flame relationship will remain a profound but untouchable love story. For others, circumstances may shift, opening the possibility for a different kind of relationship. But the outcome is not the measure of its value. The real measure is in how it shapes you, how it challenges you to confront your fears, and how it teaches you to love without losing yourself. In living through this experience, you may also develop greater empathy for others. You understand more deeply the complexity of human relationships, the weight of commitments, and the difficulty of balancing personal truth with social responsibility. You begin to see love as something far larger than personal fulfillment. It becomes a force that can inspire growth, even in the absence of physical union. By the time this chapter of your life begins to settle, you will likely notice subtle but permanent changes in yourself. You may be more patient, more self, and more compassionate. You may find that you no longer seek intensity for its own sake, but rather depth and authenticity in every interaction. The bond with your twin flame will remain a part of you, but it will no longer be the only thing defining you. When you meet your twin flame and they are married to someone else, it is easy to feel as though fate has made a mistake. But in time, you may come to see that the timing was part of the lesson. The very boundaries that once felt like barriers become the space in which you learn discipline, self-respect, and a deeper form of love. And in that space, you discover that even an impossible love can be a gift.